Hey, are you a real estate agent? Well, then you're not gonna wanna miss this. We're talking about you have two simple jobs. Number one, you need to build your list. Number two, you need to have stuff to sell them. And we're gonna give you the lead hook, lead magnet that you need to make sure that you're constantly growing that database. And that way we could deliver our value proposition and constantly do more transactions. All right, good morning, everyone. Hope everybody is off to an amazing start this week, right? Curious, are you guys still doing a lot of open houses? What are your weekend activities looking like right now? Are you doing some lead generating? Are you doing open houses, trying to draw in those nosy neighbors, maybe get some listings from them, try to sell those houses that you have that are sitting on the market a little bit? Another question for you. Do you have houses that are currently sitting on the market? I'm curious, in your neck of the woods, how is your days on market looking? Today, we are going to be talking about how to grow your audience and why it's so important. Being able to scale your message, being able to draw in more people, those top of funnel actions. Then from there, how are we going to nurture them? How are we going to pull them down and turn those leads into clients, right? Let's take them from a not met to a met database. And I want to give you guys those workflows and the importance around that. But we also want to look into where are we going to tap into data to get lists? Then from there, how are we going to incubate getting that data? How are we going to get permission to contact them, right? So that's one of the things I want to actually kind of start off with today and think about from your end, or discuss with you guys. Is there's a thing called A2P that has rolled out. And essentially what it is number that you're sending from. So like with CRMs, bulk sending, right? Basically the regulation behind it is, unless it's a opted in number or in a verified number to send from by each individual carrier, the text message will not even send. So this has definitely caused a big uproar, I think, with a lot of CRMs and just, kind of in the industry as a whole. So it's going to become, paramount for us to get permission to be able to text these people and email these people. If you're anything like me, when you first hear this, you're like, it's frustrating. Getting people to opt in is very difficult. Can't I just be compliant, give them the ability to unsubscribe and opt out? Well, unfortunately, we have to go through the opt-in process. However, I want you guys to look at this through a different lens. And I want you to look at it through the lens of this is actually a massive opportunity. Because if you're willing to do that heavy lifting to get them in, you're wiping out your competition. This is a whole new opportunity for you guys. Like, the page is turning on this. So now all these people that are getting blasted by all these different messages, that's really just turning into white noise. They're not even hearing it anymore, right? That's why they're saying it's the 11th message today, right? Like on social media, or the 11th ad before they even really internalize it, right? That's the average number, right? You need to showcase your ad 11 times before they start to internalize the value proposition that you're bringing. So that's where it's really important for those retargets and those types of things, which we'll get into in just a little bit. But the piece I'm really wanting you guys to, I guess, kind of grasp here is the opportunity that you have because of the page turning. People are not going to be getting the messages that they once were. This is, to me, exactly what we saw happen with email several years ago when they changed all the filters and basically, Gmail with their promotions and spams and all those types of things that came out. Well, now when it comes from a large send list, it'll tell you, hey, this is likely from a mass send list, etc. So it will kind of funnel the emails into different filters, and then you can, if it's like it's one that they click and open or one that they respond to, it ends up in the inbox. And that's the whole goal here, guys, is we got to be able to do what it takes to get to the inbox. And the part I want you to hang on to here is the opportunity that we have, because when we are able to get our value proposition in front of them, when we have the proper lead magnet, right, something in exchange of value for them to give you their contact information, that's how we're going to create high quality leads, people that are actually wanting to engage with the services and offer that you're bringing to them. That's the whole point of what we're wanting to do here. So with that said, let's jump in. How to grow your audience and close more. So the whole point of, this piece is, why do we want to grow the list? Why is it so important to have a database? If you're anything like me, right, in your first couple of years, I remember early on in my career, people talking about their database and, hey, are you calling? And, why would I want to call my database versus a FISBO or a different lead list, such as a canceled and expired, right? That's the whole point of where we want to acquire that data so that we get those repeat people. One of my favorite quotes is right here, is your business will grow to the extent that your audience does. Such a true statement, as long as you're working that database. There's so many agents out there that have databases of 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, and they don't communicate with it on a very consistent basis. They're not serving up value. And really that, you spend so much money in most cases to acquire that data, to get those eyeballs and earballs so that they can hear and see your message. And then if you're not communicating any value proposition, you're kind of, again, it's a lost cause. And so don't make that mistake. Don't be that agent. I want you guys to maximize your database. I want you to crush it and ultimately help inspire transactions. So many people want to move. So many people want to buy, right? Whether it be an investment home or their, or their first home, or maybe they bought and now they're renting for a while and now they want to buy again, right? There's so many different ways that you can serve and support your community, and I don't want you all to miss out on that opportunity to serve and support. So let's look at this from a marketing standpoint. How are you going to build lists? How are you going to get the data outside of, canceled, expireds, those types of things where, yes, you can call them and you can send them some emails and the cash offers and get them to opt in that way. That's absolutely one strategy that we're going to be talking about. But what I want to look at right now is from very, very top of funnel, right? So in the funnel, even if we go back into here, right, you can have this as an example for your funnel and the top of getting leads inside of that. So what we want to do is create awareness and build interest around our unique value proposition. So a lead magnet is something that you're going to give them in exchange for them to register and giving you permission to contact them. It is paramount in today's times for you to create that lead magnet so that you can constantly grow your business. All right, so let's look at some tangible things on how we could do this from a marketing standpoint. Okay, so the first ones, as I was putting this together, is to be able to see your home's value. Get a cash offer and stay up to 6 months, right? So that's kind of going right for the jugular, right? That's kind of the kill shot right there in that one, which sometimes you're absolutely going to have people register because they're looking for that value proposition. Hey, honey, look, check this out. We can, cash out and take our time finding the house that we want. Or as soon as this, job transfer comes in, we're going to have our cash and we're going to be able to move quickly because we could rent our house back on a month-to-month basis. But the overwhelming majority of people are just kicking the tires. And a lot of people are kicking the tires 12 months, 18 months before they finally pull the trigger. So that's why we want to take this route of, hey, see your home's value and explore what cash buyers will pay for your house today, or explore all your selling options, right? These are the different value propositions where people are wanting to see this. There's a lot of really cool things that we have here, right? So claim your house, see your value, and monitor your neighborhood. Everybody's always curious about their neighborhood. They want to see the nosy neighbor and all of those pieces. So once that piece comes in, this is one way to get them to register. They of course click, it pulls them in there, and they'll be able to register and get into the offer dashboard, right? That's part of that funnel. Now, those of you that are on this, you absolutely can do Facebook one-clicks or lead forms, right? Facebook lead form. If you're running a sponsored ad, I'm a big fan of them personally. So if you're running an ad or ad budget on this, I like having a very cool, simple UVP, right? Like you have here, these unique value propositions, claim your home and see your value, right? You can run that to the page and they'll register because they instantly want to see their value and what cash buyers will pay for their house, right? Which of course we know is drawing them into the offer dashboard. The second part on this is where maybe you have like some type of value proposition is, hey, see what cash buyers would pay for your house, even though you're pulling them in, you maybe want to run that to a lead form. The reason why I like the lead forms is because Facebook auto fills that out for them based on their registered email address and criteria that's in Facebook. And those leads come to you right away. And then of course you can manually enter them in as well. And those tend to perform better for Facebook because they never leave Facebook. That's the other beauty about all of that. So what does this look like once we draw them in? Okay, so this is a first look for you guys to be able to see what the blast templates are ultimately going to be looking like. Okay, so it's going to have the actual house, and they're going to first be able to claim their house so that they are opting in for you to send them communications. They're going to be able to track and see trends inside their neighborhood, the cash offer value. We'll be running some different data sets inside of it so they can kind of see history, how it's valued, a lot of that cool stuff as well. Then from there, they are going to be able to get that monthly review, see your house's value and insights on the particular property. Well, once they click that, it's going to pull them right into their offer dashboard on an ongoing basis. Okay. Now, the other thing on this too, guys, is they're going to be able to tune that value by uploading photos. They're going to be able to, give you feedback on saying, hey, this is where this needs to be, and this is where you guys are going to be capturing every single time they log in. So my emphatic advice is, when this all this rolls out, like I said, there's a huge dashboards and metrics and everything that you guys are going to see with all of this when this rolls out, but you're going to want to be able to pay very close attention to not just the opens, but the engagements, right? Meaning the clicks. What are they, when they're clicking, they're going to go right into the offer dashboard. That's going to be captured by inside your Zoodealio account, and it will be reporting to you. So when somebody's clicking and going in 4 or 5 times in one particular month and doing things, that's usually going to indicate a likely seller. So those are the people that you want to focus your efforts on, and that's how ultimately you're going to close more. This is why you want to get your list so darn big, and you want to blast this out to 1,000 people, 1,500 people that give you their permission to send to them. Now you're giving them their monthly reports, and then of course you're concentrating your efforts on the people that are interacting with the information that you are giving. And of course, the whole point of this, guys, is to be able to inspire that move, to inspire the value, to show them what you could do for the house. So even if the cash offer option doesn't work for them, that's okay, because now we're able to list and sell their house on the open market with you. That's the whole point of this, is so you're using that cash offer hook, you're using cool tech to be able to draw them in, pull them in, and of course, either way, you're at the center of it, earning that deal. And that's the beauty of Zoodealio, right? If they're doing the cash offer, great. Easy closing, quick commission, all those things, you get paid. If they want to list their house on the open market, great. You're the one listing it and selling it for them. That's the whole beauty and what I want you guys to see here, why it's so important to run these top of funnel actions so we are constantly growing our database. All right, so what are some sources of what we could do and to start almost kind of like tidying up and cleaning your database? I want you guys to start thinking about. If you have those people that, they've been in your database for 5 years and you have 8 emails for them, what's the email that they're actually opening? It's one thing for it to be delivered, but it's a whole nother if they're open. So, and it doesn't mean that they're going to open every single one, but if they're opening 1 out of 2, or for as an example from a marketing standpoint, that's a pretty good open rate, right? 50% open rate, I'll take that all day long. Where most open rates, anything between anything north of 20 from an open rate in a marketing world is actually pretty good. Then from there, we obviously, like I said before, what's the call to action inside of that email? Are they actually looking or clicking and doing your email? What that indicates is the value proposition inside of the email is on point and triggering that interest. So let's tear through this list real quick here, because again, I want you guys to take advantage of this. And there's so many agent partners that I talk to that they only have 100 to 500 people inside of their database. And I want to show you guys ways that you could really grow that and focus that. Now, without a doubt, as I had just shared with you before, if you want to grow your database, it's going to be a little bit of an investment, because running those sponsored ads to see your home's value, or another lead magnet such as, did you know that you could list your house and stay for up to 6 months, see if your home qualifies, right? Those are the types of lead magnets that you can pull people in to get registrations, and so that you can get permission to contact them. And in order to scale out that message as big as you can, you're going to need to run sponsored ads, or you're going to need to do a postcard to a neighborhood. Cash buyers are hunting in your neighborhood. See what a cash buyer would pay for your house, scan here or text here, right? Then we get those opt-ins with that actual action. So once they scan or they text, it pulls them to an opt-in, and then they opt in, and then now you have permission to be able to contact those people. Those are the things, guys, I want you to be very, very clear about. Also, allocating some of your budget to be able to do those things. So when you buy the leads from Zillow, as an example, they're doing the same type of, I mean, not necessarily Zillow's obviously running them, doing registrations on their pages, and then selling you guys the leads per the zip codes, etc. That strategy that I just gave to you guys are actually becoming the marketing source and really drawing in that client and getting that actual register, and you're not lead buying. In that scenario, you are the one that's actually generating that lead with your actions and your activities. Now, the other thing is of course you can buy lead lists and get that already have that contact information. And of course we would send them some opt-in stuff, and that's where it's just, you have to have a juicy lead magnet in order to get them to opt in, such as, hey, monitor your home's value, and always see what cash buyers will say, pay for your house with trends and insights. Those are the types of lead magnets that we want as homeowners. Again, even if somebody's not even in the market, to sell as it sits right now, those are all things of people want. Just like a case in point is HomeBot. Look at the success that HomeBot has by running data and being able to get homeowners to plug in with that value proposition, and ultimately some type of monthly newsletter. Okay, so these are your lists of things that you guys have here. Farming lists, contacts from your email. I think that's a big one. Another one that people miss is your phone, right? You have so much data inside your phone and your contact list. Be able to extract that into a CSV and upload that, right? Those are all other places. Again, a farm is a huge one. So this takes me to one of the sources here is title companies. A lot of title companies and title partners, depending on where you're at in the country, can really assist you here to where they can help you pull a farm, either a zip code, which a lot of time is going to be a massive number, usually double down on the subdivision or a specific area or a county, right? Those of you guys that are back east, the counties can be very, very small. But then from there, if you have LandVoice or Vulcan 7 or RedX, right? Those are places that people are drawing in those canceled and expireds list. I think that this is a massive, massive opportunity to start dripping on these people and really giving them the value that they're looking for. And I don't want you to be thinking about these drips as like those CRM drips, right? Which a lot of times people are running campaigns. I think it lost the allure because people are just kind of sending out emails. Hey, I see you checking out 123 Main Street. I'm going to be showing houses this weekend. When would you like to go look at the houses, right? Just boring emails, no value prop, right? And it was just sell, 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 sell. And it really has it's been contaminated. And so this is where I want to invite you guys to uncontaminate this and get these people inspired to do certain things again, right? So what's that action plan? What does that ultimately look like? So what this looks like from a workflow standpoint is we want to be able to create that awareness, right? That's that top of funnel action. Then we want to build interest by engaging with them, educating them, showing them a feature or a benefit around what they're looking for. So such as a cash offer could pull somebody in. Hey, did you know what this particular, or the Cash Plus, hey, did you know that this particular offer allows you to flip your own house? What do you mean flip my own house? Yeah, it's a really cool opportunity where the cash buyer comes in, buys the house, then rehabs the house, sells it on the open market, and then gives you back the profit. I'm sure you got to be saying, what? What's the catch? Right? These are the types of messages that you want to interact with these people and showcase the value proposition, because again, it's that true unique UVP that's going to make a difference. One thing I want to plant for everybody in here on is a seed, and that isn't all houses, but a lot of houses could use a little bit of updating, a little bit of being showcased better. How many more people would sell their house today if they thought that they could put an extra 50K in their pocket, or an extra 75K, maybe even 100K in certain circumstances? If they could get sell their house now, get an extra $50,000, they would move. It would be enough for them to either buy down the rate or offset the payment of where they're wanting to be. And my whole point of this is, guys, is when we can buy their house, rehab it, sell it for top dollar, potentially making them that 25, 50K more in the right scenario, you are going to manufacture transactions for your business. And so that's exactly what I want you guys to see, because when we take the massive action of putting people into blast and getting them to opt in, communicating that value proposition, calling the people that are engaging with your content, your emails, looking at your posts, liking your post, all those types of things, you can see who's liked it, etc. Then you can go to their page and be able to like their stuff and engage with them, right? So it takes a bit of attention to detail on these types of things versus just doing the passive action. But when you're being purposeful with these actions, you're going to be able to convert and pull people through the funnel better. And so that's where I want to make sure that you guys understand, like when you're setting your schedule and doing your time budgeting for when am I going to lead generate, right? Like my time block. So for me, when I was in production, I used to always have the first 4 hours of my day be 100% focused around lead generation and lead conversion. Well, that lead conversion a lot of the time was pulling those people down that funnel, right? Seeing who was liking, who was interacting with my stuff, because that's exactly who I wanted to call and talk to. When I'm calling somebody and it's just flat cold, the conversation is way more difficult than the people that are already engaging with my stuff. When I know that they've been opening emails, when I know that they've been liking posts, when I know that they've been doing certain things, I want to inspire or take the conversation to those people, because they're much more likely to transact between now and the next 18 months versus somebody who is not, right? And so these are the behaviors that I want to educate you guys on how you can adopt these particular strategies and ultimately close more deals, right? That's what this is about, as we all know. Let's close more deals. So then from there, once we pull them through, right, it's all about being consistent in the action. So many agents make this mistake. They will prospect their hearts out for 2 weeks, a month, even 6 months, and they don't get the result that they want to or that they were hoping to. And then they quit or they give up, saying it doesn't work. Sharon Lechner, 3 Feet from Gold, a great book. I encourage you to check it out. That's what I'm wanting to get at, is where so many times you're stopping 3 feet from gold. And that was the whole thing of like prospectors. And just a quick little tidbit so you guys know, is prospectors, they were digging and they basically ran out of juice, if you will, and they were digging in an area that they thought would be gold. Well, somebody came in after, and literally within 3 feet, they struck gold of the mining. And so don't do that to yourself, where you're mining and digging and building your business, whether it be social media, whether it be through the list building, whether it be through direct prospecting, whether it be farming, or some type of just generalized marketing. It takes a while to prime the pump. It takes a while for your brand to become the brand awareness of the particular area, right? So whether the brand is you, or you're working on a team, or you've built a brand, it takes a minute to cement it into a new area. Talk to anybody who's dominating a certain area, right? They may have a little a hold on a neighborhood or two or a zip code, but as you start to travel outside of that, it dissipates. Well, that's the whole point of what you want to do, is figure out that alias. Then you need to go find another subdivision with that same alias, and then we deploy those same type of strategies on that, because when it comes to turnover rates and basically, again, defining your ideal client or the alias of how your value proposition is more likely to be absorbed in those particular areas. So these are some strategies that if you follow these, 100% you are going to grow your database. And when you grow your database and you level up your conversations and continue to bring out the value proposition, you're just by default, you're going to do more transactions. And so I really want to inspire you guys right now to think about this. Very, very simple action. How can I grow my lists from a quality standpoint? I gave you some ones before where, to go back and tap into, right? So whether it be the old Red X lists or old land voice lists, any of those types of things, to be able to go get those CSVs. I do recommend, even if you guys want to do a skip trace on it, you can do that. But then, of course, ping that email address. These are all some things that we'll be able to support you guys with too. Those of you that don't know what pinging your email means, it means that it's at least a valid email. One of the ways to get, flagged in the email marketing world is when you're sending from bulk send and half of the emails on there are bad emails and you're getting a whole bunch of unsubs and, those types of things. Your send score will fall and you don't want to get that. You don't want to have that issue. So do yourself a favor, scrub your list, pay attention. You may have to go back and watch this session a couple of times because I definitely dropped a lot of nuggets in here for you guys to make sure that we are really paying attention to our database. But again, when we get quality data, communicate our unique value proposition, people will raise their hands based on the services that you provide, right? Which of course allows you to grow your brand and scale up your message, which is what this is all about. So do me a favor on some of this. I'm going to open this up for any Q&A, anything that you guys have, how I can serve and support and be of service. I got a few minutes here that I'll keep this open and be able to answer any questions you guys might have. Question for you guys based on the content that I just delivered to you. Is this something that you are wanting to do, is to grow your database? Is this something that you have? And also a curious question for the audience that's on here today, since we got a good group. How big of a database do you have? How many people are you do you have in there? So if you could let me know that would be great. Let's see, Jeff. Okay, so Jeff, you got a database of 1,300 people. All right, so I'm going to use this as an example because I want you guys to see the power of what I'm talking about. So I'm sure not all those 1,300 people own a house, but here's what I want you guys to understand is that national turnover rate on average is 5%. The turnover rate is probably going to shrink drastically, is what we anticipate over the next couple of years. We've already watched it in neighborhoods that we're monitoring fall from 8s to 4, right? I mean, you're talking drastic turnover rates. And I think that the turnover rates could probably go down to the 3s and the 4s with the higher interest rates and the higher prices and the lack of inventory. People are not wanting to move as much. But guess what, guys? If you do what I'm telling you to do and you deploy this correctly, this is actually an unfair advantage for you and your business, right? I'm not telling you to root for these doom and gloom times, but I am giving you a playbook on how to get to the Super Bowl, right? Being that football just started, I'll use that as an analogy. So getting to the Super Bowl here of being able to deploy these value propositions, even though turnover rates are so low, you guys will be able to manufacture transactions because you're going to be able to inspire people to move and rehab their house and sell for top dollar and take that extra money that they didn't know that they had in their house and put it down on the house that they want to move to, right? By either buying down the rate or with that extra money, still getting them a payment that makes sense for their budget, right? There's a lot of just really, really cool things that you guys are going to be able to do. And again, if you follow these strategies, you're going to have an unfair advantage versus all of the other agents inside your marketplace. Again, back to that 1,300 that Jeff gave us, even at let's just say a 3% turnover rate, what is that? That's 39 leads, right? Of people every single year in that 1,300 that would move. So if you had that 39, Jeff, or you were at least getting half of those people to engage inside of your blast and your dashboard when they're ready to transact, how much different would that make? And then here's the other thing I want you guys to think about. The beautiful thing with sellers is 61% of them are also going to buy a house. So think about that. Every one transaction you get is like 1.5. And so it's just a beautiful, beautiful business model. So when you guys take the time to build these strategies in place, you really, really are going to affect your GCI in the most positive way, right? Which is what this is about. Let's make some money and close some more deals. Hey, thanks so much for tuning into today's session. I hope that you found it valuable. Make sure that you comment on your favorite part of this session today. And always remember to like, subscribe, ring that bell so you'll be notified when a new session drops. Thanks.